Serving southern New Mexico, this is the award-winning KRWG-TV News 22, where news matters.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jenny Hazlett.
And I'm Noah Apodaca.
Members of the New Mexico State University faculty are angry. In light of the recent scandals in the athletic department, they say athletic director Mario Mocha should not be given a rich new contract.
Last month, as former Chancellor Dan Arvizu left, one of his last acts was to give Mocha a 5-year contract with generous raises each year. Under the extended contract, Mocha's base salary would increase annually to $280,000 to $351,000 in 2023 and up to $425,000 in 2027. That has not gone down well with faculty. Now the Faculty Senate plans to vote on Thursday to send a letter of protest to the Board of Regents. The letter states this contract was both astonishing and deeply disheartening, and that it's irrational to reward the leader of a non-academic unit that was almost single-handedly responsible for diminishing NMSU's reputation on a national level over the past year. It accuses Mocha of neglect or inattention to his duties. It also points out that Mocha's raise of nearly $72,000 in the first year of the contract is more than the yearly salary of many professors. The letter says this situation indicates the university is not living up to its mission and calls for the regents to hold people accountable. Now, we have not been able to contact university administration for a comment. University spokesperson Justin Bannister was previously quoted in the Las Cruces Sun News and that the contract extension had been in the works for several months. New Mexico Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham is introducing legislation to criminalize hazing. This comes as New Mexico State University is facing a lawsuit after 2 members of the men's basketball team were hazed and sexually assaulted by other teammates. Several players from Eastern New Mexico University women's basketball team have also come forward, saying they were sexually assaulted by the coach's husband. The alleged NMSU victims and their attorneys will hold a press conference tomorrow at 10 a.m. outside the Pan American Center. And Jenny, humid temperatures outside. What can you tell us about those current conditions?
Yeah, Noah, so it was a little humid out there today, but it is still a beautiful one. We have a current temperature sitting at 84 degrees with a slight breeze blowing out of the southwest at 8 miles per hour. Now, it is still sunny outside, but we did have a humidity of 9%, a dew point of 20 degrees, and a barometer reading 26.56 inches. Now, we did have a high today of 88 degrees and a low of 54, but around this time of year, we normally sit at an average of about 83. Now, 3 years ago, we had a record high of 93 degrees, and back in 1967, we had a record low of below freezing at 27 degrees. Now, we didn't have any rainfall today, so that's leaving our yearly rainfall at 0.57 inches. Now, that's all I have for your current conditions. Back to the desk.
Gun right advocates are asking the Supreme Court to step in on an assault weapons ban in Illinois. They're challenging a city ordinance that was passed last year that bans the sale of assault rifles and a state law that prohibits the sale and possession of assault weapons and magazines. They say Illinois courts are ignoring last year's ruling that expanded Second Amendment rights. Both the federal district court and an appeals court declined the request for a preliminary injunction. The emergency appeal was submitted to Justice Amy Coney Barrett.
Now stay tuned. I'll be back with your national forecast later, and Kristen will have the scoop on sports.
Welcome back. You're watching News 22 Tuesday,
where news matters.
The CDC has tracked a salmonella outbreak to a gold medal flour facility in Missouri. General Mills recalled 4 varieties of the flour last week when salmonella contamination was suspected. The recall includes 2 and 5 pound bags of bleached all-purpose flour and 5 and 10 pound bags of unbleached all-purpose flour with better if used by dates of March 27th and 28th of 2024. So far, at least 13 people in 12 states have been infected. 3 have been hospitalized, and there have been no deaths reported. A major highway in central Illinois was shut down Monday after a dust storm blew through and triggered a chain reaction crash. 6 people are dead and 37 have been taken to the hospital, according to Illinois State Police. The state police say that at least 72 vehicles were involved in the massive pileup, which spread over 2 miles. At least 2 semi-trucks caught fire, and forecasters say winds gusted between 35 and 45 miles an hour and created a dust storm with blinding conditions that triggered the crash. And Jenny, those conditions are crazy all over the country. What can you tell us here or around the entire United States?
Thanks, Noah. Yeah, so taking a look at that forecast for tonight, we can see that the temperatures across the nation are going to be a little chillier than normal. Specifically focusing in the southwest, we can see that Salt Lake City will be at 54 degrees, Las Vegas 55, Phoenix 65, but taking it up into Denver, we can see they are going to be sitting at 47 degrees tonight, 50 in Albuquerque and 59 in El Paso. Now taking a look at my next national map, we can see that along the New Mexico and Texas border, they may experience some severe thunderstorms tonight. Now that'll be in that Roswell, Amarillo, and Lubbock area. There are going to be some chances of hail, a lot of blowing dust and damaging wind gusts up to 55 to 65 miles per hour. Now taking a look at my last national map, we can see that this storm may move over into Texas into Thursday. Now we can see that that's mostly going to be through central Texas, up from San Angelo to Dallas, up to Norman, and up into Wichita, Kansas. Now it is marginal and possible severe thunderstorm threats, but that could still mean hail, some dust storms, and even possible tornadoes. Now those few storms, just be careful if you're traveling into Texas or across New Mexico. That's all I have for your national forecast, but join me after the break for a look at those local temperatures. Welcome back. You're watching News 22 Tuesday. Now, as we take a look across the temperatures in New Mexico right now, we can see that it was a pretty mild day out there today. In Farmington, we're sitting at 74 degrees, 70 in Santa Fe, 76 in Albuquerque, 80 in Socorro, and 84 here in Las Cruces, and an 83 in Deming. Now tomorrow, those temperatures aren't going to warm up too much. It'll be 78 in Gallup, 80 in Albuquerque, 77 in Clovis, 72 in Ruidoso, and 84 in Deming. Taking a look at those neighboring cities, we can see that in Alamogordo, it's going to be 55 tonight, with tomorrow a high of 85. Now, as we look over into Truth or Consequences, we can see that it is going to also be 55 tonight, but we're going to have a high of 84. Over in Silver City, we can see that it is going to be a chilly 45 tonight, but tomorrow it'll be 75, so pretty nice day. And here in the city of the Cruces, we can see that it's going to be 54 tonight, and tomorrow it'll be a really warm 89 degrees. Now that's all I have for those local temperatures. Back to the desk for more news.
Thanks, Jenny. The NMSU football team looks ready for what the upcoming season has in store for them, and after their spring football game wrapped, and with a successful season and a successful night, the NMSU football team is excited for what another year can bring. And Christian Cruces reports.
Spring football is now in the books. With the Aggies finishing their spring scrimmage on April 20th, the team takes it as an opportunity to play with new names that will be called up to in the fall.
It's hard to evaluate the game because of the kids that were mixed all across the board. And that's what's amazing that helps us, though. They had to play with somebody else that you never know they might have to play with. But we played a lot of freshman young kids tonight, and I think they did pretty well.
Coach Kill says the team's chemistry looks better than it was in last year's spring game.
Even though the Aggies had a rough start to the season last year, they managed to make it to a bowl game, and with this newfound confidence, they are taking a step forward in the right direction.
And that step forward is pushing players towards a goal that quarterback Diego Pavia is already thinking about.
Conference USA Championship for sure. I know that's on top of all of our minds, and to do that, we got to do the little details right. You know, all of us trust Coach Kill. Just keep buying into what he's got to do for us, and you know he's won everywhere he's gone. So with him leading the way, we're unstoppable.
And with that mindset, the Aggies feel ready for what the new season has to offer them. Christian Cruces, News 22.
And Kristen, let's send it right over to you for sports.
Thanks, Noah. Coming up in sports, NMSU baseball is in Albuquerque for the Battle of I-25. We'll be right back with News 22 Sports.
This is KRWG-TV News 22 Sports.
Welcome back. It's time to kick it with Kristen for one last time. The NMSU football team might be sending some Aggies to the NFL. Chris Ojo, Lazarus Williams, and Trevor Brohard have all been invited to NFL rookie minicamps. Ojo received an invite from the New Orleans Saints, Williams received an invite from the Miami Dolphins, and Brohard received an invite from the San Francisco 49ers. The rookie camps may begin on May 15th. NMSU is celebrating a WAC record being broken by one of their own. Garrison Smith is on his way to the NCAA tournament after winning the individual title at the WAC Men's Golf Championship and breaking a 21-year WAC Golf Championship record by shooting a 197. No players were able to say with Smith as he managed to stay 7 shots away from the other competitors. Smith is the first individual champion for NMSU since 2014. NMSU as a team ended up finishing in second place behind Grand Canyon. The NMSU baseball team is facing off against their I-25 rivals, the Lobos, as we speak. This is the third time the Aggies and Lobos have met this season. NMSU won their first matchup in Albuquerque 2-0, while UNM won the second in Las Cruces 13-0. UNM is currently one of the top hitting teams across college baseball this season. The Lobos are second nationally in batting average and 5th in slugging percentage. The Battle of I-25 is currently being streamed on the Mountain West Network. And that's all for sports tonight. Join us for more sports action tomorrow. Still ahead on News 22, Jenny will be back to take a look at your 5-day forecast.
Let's take a look at our top stories. Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham intends to introduce legislation to criminalize hazing, and state lawmakers are calling on NMSU to take immediate action in the midst of hazing lawsuits. And the Doña Ana Search and Rescue Team is looking for volunteers to join the organization.
Jenny, hopefully we can get those nice temperatures this weekend. You never know. Hope we can get those.
Yeah, so taking a look at our 5-day forecast, it is going to be a beautiful weekend out there. So make sure to get outside and enjoy those sunny temperatures. Now back to Noah to close us out for the show.
Thanks, Jenny. You know, we have a beautiful weekend ahead, and then since it is National Teachers Day, we want to give a shout out to our news directors here at News 22, Mr. Hugo Perez and Nick Miller.
And that's all we have for Tuesday's show tonight. Thank you everyone for joining us. Tune in tomorrow night for more news. Good night.
This news brief in Español is brought to you by Noticias 22, Spanish language news for southern New Mexico and West Texas. Noticias 22.
Buen día, soy Jorge Fonseca con las breves de Noticias 22. El Senado de la Facultad de la Universidad Estatal de Nuevo México ha escrito una carta a la Junta de Regentes de NMSU, el canciller interno Gosh y el rector y director académico Shoho, donde piden una resolución con respecto a la renovación del contrato del director atlético de NMSU y la falta de adhesión a la misión, visión y a valores de la universidad. Como recordaremos, el director atlético Mario Mosha ganaría más de $350,000 e incrementaría aproximadamente por $20,000 cada año. En la carta se describe que sería racional que el ex canciller de NMSU recompensaría tan generosamente a un individuo cuando lo único que hizo fue quemar la reputación de NMSU a nivel nacional durante el año pasado. También se menciona que este acto envía un mensaje sobre los valores de NMSU, sobre cómo es que ni los profesores y estudiantes son importantes. Conforme la situación progresa, le traemos más información. Autoridades del condado de Coay, en Nuevo México, siguen investigando un accidente fatal ocurrido el día de ayer en la Interestatal 40 al este de Tucumcari. La investigación inicial indica que el conductor de 18 años de una furgoneta, Diego Ignacio Castro Cerrito, colisionó con la parte trasera de un tráiler que se encontraba estacionado en el arcén de la carretera. Luego de esto, la furgoneta pegó con otro tráiler. Las razones por esta acción siguen siendo aún desconocidas. Cerrito fue declarado fallecido después de que el oficial médico visitase la escena. Ambos conductores de los trailers no se reportaron heridos. La policía de Nuevo México sigue investigando. Esto ha sido todo por mi parte. Muchas gracias por estar con nosotros en Noticias 22 y que tengan una muy bonita noche.